Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be walking you through and talking about Marseille, France. Today we were supposed to have another excursion with shoreexcursionsgroup.com, but we ended up missing it. When we got to our port stop, the weather wasn't great because it was raining, and it was going to also require us having to walk for like 10 minutes to get to the meetup location, and the directions weren't that great for this particular location. And so we got some umbrellas from the Celebrity cruise ship, and then a few minutes into our walk, the first umbrella that my wife was holding folded in. So then we tried sharing the one that I had, and within like a minute, that one also folded in because of some gusts of wind. They weren't the best umbrellas that they could have given us. And then at that point, I was already just frustrated, and we didn't know what the rest of the morning was going to be for that walk and the weather. And we just decided, our feet were wet and we were getting wet ourselves. Let's just go back to the ship and then we could figure it out from there. I was disappointed because on our other 3 prior excursions before this one, people had contacted us through WhatsApp or other communications, gave us details about the meetup, the opportunity to respond if there's any questions or issues. And that just didn't happen in this case. So there was no way for anybody for us to contact. So I told my wife we would just eat the cost if that was the case for this excursion, if we couldn't get a refund. I don't even know if we tried to do it, if it was even worth our trouble. But it wasn't, it wasn't a great experience for that particular stop. And at the end of the day, I was just less than thrilled with how that morning got started. So about maybe 45 minutes to an hour later, we bussed over to the city. Eventually the rain stopped and became a beautiful day. We also had gotten some better quality umbrellas from them just in case. You might be wondering why we didn't just take that bus to the meetup for that excursion. The excursion meetup was for some reason in a different location than that bus drop off. No idea why we had to walk there. Just follow the line on the road, and we didn't get to do that. So overall, it just wasn't an option for us. The bus stop, though, from the cruise ship, if you're not doing the excursions, is near the Cathédrale La Major. And here you get off, you can see the big cathedral. We walked up the steps and we took a look inside the cathedral. It's very large and impressive building, so you can spend a little bit of time there walking through and getting to check it out. There's lots of great attention to detail there. Then from there, we walked back down and made our way to the hop-on, hop-off bus. We were informed of that. They had some representatives there giving us, the map that you can see of the different stops. So we were able to know about that just right off when we got off the bus. So this is a great way to see the city. It begins by driving around the marina. If you stop at the first stop that's closest from where you get off the bus terminal, it's going to have a number of defined bus stops at certain attractions. They're going to give you that map, like I said. If you don't get it there and there's no representatives, if you go to the first location where you can purchase the tickets for the bus, they have maps there to give you to show all those different stops, where you can get on and off. Something, though, to keep in mind is you might want to get off and then back on at that same stop. Sometime in the middle of the day, we made the mistake of getting off and walking a little between locations, mainly because I suggested it, so I'll take the blame. We walked through some locations that we wanted to visit, figured the stops were going to be easy to see, and that just wasn't the case. These stops in Marseille for the hop-on, hop-off bus, they share bus stops with the city, and there's a lot of city stops, not as many for the hop-on, hop-off. They have these tiny stickers that's on there that indicates that it's the hop-on, hop-off bus. So if you're just walking and you see it from far away, you have to get real close to see if it's got the tiniest little sticker on there, which is not great. But on the map, you can try to figure out where the locations are, but they're not realistic on there. So like I said, keep in mind where you're at. Probably, it's going to be recommended to get on and off at the same stop. But luckily, after we walked around, we were looking for 2 or 3 of the different stops. We were able to find the right one down by the marina. Even that one, it took us like 5 minutes to find because it's not labeled great. So, just take that as a word of advice. If you're going to do it in Marseille, just know, for that hop on, hop off bus. So yeah, so when you get on the bus at the beginning, it continues along the marina, and then it goes along the ocean. It's going to offer a few places to get off. We got off and walked over to the next stop. It's right by the La Corniche Kennedy. This is a large outdoor structure honoring the soldiers who died, and it gives great views of the ocean that is right next to one of the bus stops. And a good portion of the bus ride that just takes you along the coast. So depending on what side, so if you're on the right side of the bus, you'll get great views of the coast. Or if you're on the left side of the bus, you're going to get a lot of the city views as you're going through there. We then decided to get off at the stop for the Basilique Notre Dame de la Garde. This basilica stands out because of its elevated location. So you can see it from a lot of parts of the city. And when you walk up to the top, it's going to give great view of the city like you see right here. Just keep in mind, if you struggle to walk uphill, it can be a little strenuous for some. I think you could, if you're taking a taxi or different ride other than the bus, I think you can get dropped off and there's some elevators, but just keep in mind if you're taking the hop on, hop off bus, that it's going to be, some walking and might be more difficult for others. So after we got done there at the Basilique, this location, the bus stop, was very busy just because that was a very popular location for people to get off. So me being who I am, I looked at the map and that was provided by the bus operator. I suggested that we should walk to the next location. Figured, we're relatively young and we can get some good looks of the city. Doing that way. And this is where we stumbled upon a lot of graffiti, and what I would say was the smell of urine. I don't know. I don't know how other to explain it than just wasn't the best part of the city that we got to see, but I'm glad we did get to see that. After we were done there, we then had lunch at Café du Théâtre for some fish and chips. That area has a couple other different locations with it for food options. That just happened to be the one that had things that we're both interested in. Had the fish and chips there. I don't know if it's just they didn't speak English, so I don't know if we got the impression that they weren't friendly, but I don't know. The food was just okay. I didn't feel very welcomed. I even tried all the places we went. Don't know the native language, and I tried using Google Translate to try and say those some of the things that we're trying to communicate in French at this particular spot, and they just didn't seem to care about that. So, like a lot of things you hear, unfortunately, at least from my experience at this stop, even with an attempt to try to speak their native language and be friendly, it just seemed like they didn't care, and they didn't take kindly to tourists, unfortunately. So after we got done eating there, we walked around for a little bit, but nothing stood out to make us want us to wander around any further. It's just, like I said, a lot of the graffiti and things that we saw. So we made our way to the bus to take I think about 10-minute ride back to the cruise ship. And then we decided for at least for this to go back and just take advantage of our drink package on the cruise ship that we had purchased. So we went ahead and did that. I'll be honest, Marseille was not our favorite. I don't know if we would have had a better experience by taking our excursion that we had missed at the beginning of the day. The start of the day was just horrible. The time spent trying to find the bus stops, dirty parts of town, unwelcoming people that we encountered. It just didn't leave us with a thought that, hey, this is somewhere we really want to come back in the future. So if you've been, maybe you've had a better experience, and I'd love to hear about it. Maybe tell me where it went wrong for us, but I'd love to hear about your experience if you had a more pleasant one. So yeah, that was our time in Marseille, and we'll wrap it up here. So I hope you guys are enjoying all the commentary as usual, and all the videos. We're further along in the channel, so I'm trying to get more things out. You're going to see some more different things coming up in the future. So let me know thoughts and things in the comments, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.